Coming up this week, off screen.
Anna Faris goes overboard.
Alex Lawther puts on a freak show.
Diane Kruger gets in the fade.
Society evolves in Arcadia.
The story of one artist's a real boom.
And get ready for a whole new world with Maquia.
All those to come and more off screen.
This is off screen. Off screen. The latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
Ooh, welcome to Off Screen. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Kayson.
Is that your impersonation of me?
Yeah, it was a little bit. I think I nailed it.
You did pretty well.
Smashed it.
Now just say a load of curse words and go a little bit mid-Atlantic with it, and you fit right in as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
just occasionally go like that.
You're going to have to trim the beard a little bit, just FYI.
No, I'm not doing that.
I'll buy you one of those beard ninjas for Christmas like I have. It's like
a beard ninja?
Have you never seen one?
No.
It's like in the shape of a Y. It's made of plastic and a reinforced like perspex or whatever it is, and you just use it as like a stencil.
Oh.
You never wonder how I get these lines? How I get the sharp pointed lines?
I thought your beard just knew when to stop.
It stops at the Tony Stark level.
Don't grow there.
So, news to come, reviews to come, box office top 5 to come, loads of stuff to come. But I have a question for you, because I got asked this week.
42.
Well, it is the ultimate question. You know, the answer to the ultimate question is 42. But before we get on with all that, I pose this question, and I want to ask you, and think, by all means, just drop bits of your answer throughout the show, and we can deal with it more in the podcast extras. This is
a big question.
You're gonna love this, right? Your favourite films of the 21st century, right?
Okay.
They don't have to be any good. They don't have to be like academically good Oscar-winning films. They have to be your favourites. So I, for instance, can say Four Brothers. Four Brothers is one of my favourite films. Love that movie.
Interesting.
Do you know if it's ever on TV and I'm just giving you the channels, I will stop and watch it.
You're watching it.
But Four Brothers, I love that. I love Chewie Telegia in Four Brothers. I love that film.
Love a bit of Chewie. Well, we'll get High Fidelity out of the way.
Like, it's a 21st century film, isn't it?
Like just.
Yeah. By like 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made in the 20th century.
So we'll have that for the first one because, of course.
Okay, we'll just keep going back to it, and we'll ask.
Ooh, what else can we have?
I know.
I'll think about it.
Let it ferment in the old noodle, and see what comes to the surface. So we need to start with some film news. Something to start off the week. What have you got for me, Mr. Allen?
Big Disney business news.
Big Disney business news.
We knew that John Lasseter was
stepping down.
He was stepping down. Yeah, he was having 6 months off for.
Reasons.
Special hugs.
Wait,
that's what he says.
Yeah,
that makes me upset.
He literally describes it as special hugs, which is weird.
Yeah, he's gone now. He's stepping down, and he's being replaced by 2 people to do his big jobs, I guess.
It's like an inverse of the Ocean's 11 theory. So it took 11 men, took 8 women.
Yeah.
8 women did the work of 11 men. In the case of John Lasseter, it takes 2 people to do one John Lasseter's job.
One woman.
Yeah, it's like an inverse Ocean's theory.
Yeah, because he was the head of Pixar and he was the head of Disney Animation. Now we have a separate head of Disney Animation and a separate Pixar head.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So head of Disney Animation is now Jennifer Lee.
Of Frozen.
Of Frozen, yeah. And Frozen 2, and she's wrote loads of great stuff.
She's done something, one of the Disney ones since. Isn't she involved in...
I think she wrote Zootopia.
I think that might be it. Zootopia Zootropolis, yeah.
She wrote Wreck-It Ralph as well. Co-wrote. So she's done loads of good stuff. Tangled, she was involved in loads of base things. And then the new head
was she Entangled?
Yeah, she was. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yes, she was entangled.
Actually, she has got pretty long blonde hair.
Ah, well, there we are. Who's the other
new Doctor?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, who is part of Brain Trust.
He is. He's one of the big 3, isn't he? Really?
Well, it's. I think it was 5. I think was it John Lasseter, Brad Bird, Andrew Stanton, Lee Unkrich, Pete Docter.
Oh, I always forget Lee Unkrich.
Yeah.
Always. Didn't he direct Toy Story 3?
Yeah, but he was also a co-director on the first Toy Story, which I think everyone kind of forgets about. I mean, he directed Coco as well recently.
Oh, of course, which is a beautiful film, and everyone should see it immediately.
It's fantastic. I would like to watch it again.
I don't think it should have perhaps won Best Song, but...
yeah, well, this is about them, not about...
I know. I'm still bitter for The Greatest Showman, man.
Yeah.
Look, this is me. Anyway.
I don't think it needs any more fans. I think we're fine.
Look, not enough people have seen The Greatest Showman. Okay, more people need to see The Greatest Showman.
Not enough bloody Oscar voters have seen The Greatest Showman.
No, that much is obvious.
Yeah. Enough Rotherham College students have seen Greatest Showman, and that's enough for me.
No, okay. Well, as long as you're making your difference in the world. Let's talk about. Let's plug the podcast first before we get to review.
Do it.
So we got to plug the podcast edition because, as you know, we can't fit everything into the radio edit. We do try, and this week we will actually manage it as well.
Really?
We will actually manage to fit all 6 films into the radio edit, and then
they said it couldn't be done.
They said it couldn't, but we knew better.
Show them better. Show them out.
So our podcast extras this week are basically film news and a moment of cage. But normally there's reviews in there too. So go along to iTunes, Acast, Deezer, TuneIn.
All the stuff.
All the goodies. If there's a podcast platform, odds are we're on it. Well, about 90% of the time anyway. And it's on there. So let's talk then about our first film of the week. Let's talk about Maquia.
I don't know what this is.
Right.
You didn't know what it was last week either, did you?
I didn't know what it was last week. Actually, last week, I didn't have a chance to look into what the following week's films actually were. I mean, I knew the titles, but I didn't know what they were. Maquia is one of these. Maquia is described as a high fantasy animation.
Okay.
Can you say anime animation? Because anime denotes animation, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Anime is, yeah. All right, so this comes to us. This is a debut film from Mario Arcadia, who comes from a writing background. She's never helmed a film before in her life. She just solely comes from writing on anime. So this is entirely new ground for her. And do you know what? Actually, you wouldn't be able to tell that in the slightest because... Wow, it's actually
good job.
Really impressive. Big, epic canvas anime. It's one of those. Imagine, if you will, something like Lord of the Rings in terms of like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, with like angels and fairies kind of a palette.
Sounds good.
Right. So the general gist is you've got Maquia, who is an immortal. She's one of this race of kind of like waif fairy-like entities. They age up until like their teenage years, and then they stay that age. Her home is attacked by an evil army, and she is cast asunder into the human world, where she comes across a young baby whom she adopts, who, as a collateral damage. The baby has no one to take care of it. So Ariel, the baby's name is Ariel, sorry. And it's a boy, because I always think...
Really?
Yeah, boy named Ariel, I know. And she basically becomes a de facto mother figure to Ariel. And what happens is, as she, as the years go by and she works her way back to, finding her way home and saving her people, etc. There's also the personal story of her relationship with Ariel and how Ariel is advancing in years and she decidedly is not. So you can sort of imagine the emotional component in that one. It's really, really good. It's amazingly well constructed. It's not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination. It has probably about 5 endings too many.
It's very Return of the King.
Yes, going with the Lord of the Rings thing, it is kind of like Return of the King, where there are many, many endings. And I know I'm not alone in thinking that. There were a few comments to that effect, which is like, how many times did that end? And yes, watching it, you do think that, like, oh, this must be the ending. Oh, no, we're going there next. Okay, cool. Having said that, it's never irritating about it. It's when you do think it's going to end, it goes somewhere. I think, okay, fair enough. We're just going to do that now. I'm still interested. It's fine. But yeah, I really grew to love this. It was very, very emotional at times. Entirely subtitled. There's literally no English language in this whatsoever. And to be honest with you, I think a dub would probably kill a lot of the effect that it has, a lot of the gravitas. The world building in there, the world is completely realised. It's very immersive, very not believable, but you know what I mean. It's a very impressive.
You feel like you're in it.
Exactly, yeah. I was really engaged by it, and I really got into it. It's a tad long. I mean, it scratches 2 hours. I think it scratches 2 hours. I'd say I liked it. I just thought maybe trim down those endings a little.
Touch too long.
A touch too long. I mean, it takes an hour 55, and probably 15 minutes of those are endings. so.
Too much.
But it will send you away with a few tears. I mean, at least one of its 9 endings will reduce you to tears. So there's that. But it's very emotionally resonant, very poignant at times. I thought the voice work in there, even though I don't speak the language, you get certain emotional notes from the vocal delivery, worked for me completely. I was completely taken in by it. I don't think this quite has the crossover appeal in terms of a Western audience of something like, say, Your Name, which has become the go-to in the last couple of years.
People love that film.
It is really good.
You didn't love it as much as some people.
Not as much as some, but I understood why they loved it. That was the thing. You
understood the love.
Yeah, it's kind of like Hereditary. Like, there are people who don't like Hereditary, and you think...
Yeah, that's kind of baffling me a little bit.
Yeah, I can see why you might not like it. I personally love it. I can see why you don't. But yeah, same thing with Your Name.
I saw an incredible GIF that someone put on Facebook that summed up Hereditary the other day.
Oh God, what was it? Describe.
I think I might have to tell you. It's Emilio Estevez in The Breakfast Club, and he's got a hoodie and was like the toggles on the hoodie. And
no.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen that one. Yes, I wondered why I kept seeing that image. But no. So Maquia is out next Wednesday. So that is Wednesday, June the 27th, I believe. I think it's a single day release. It is definitely worth checking out, especially if you're an anime fan. Don't miss it. If it's something, you may just the plot alone may entice you to see it, and fair play if it does. But I really want it.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back. Speaking of, we've got our Wonder Woman ident on there. Wonder Woman 1984 started filming, hasn't it?
Yeah, and that's the title. We were talking about it last week. We were like, I wonder if that's what it's going to be called.
Apparently it is, yeah. But those images are out, and Chris Pine's apparently back.
Steve Trevor. What do we think? I heard someone was theorising that it is Martian Manhunter.
Ooh.
Because obviously Martian Manhunter can change his appearance.
I don't know. I've seen pictures of Chris Pine in multiple different outfits from that movie.
Maybe he just changed to Chris Pine and was like, this is working.
Yeah, but if you could look like anyone, Chris Pine is not a bad one to pick.
Not a bad, yeah.
No.
Just be one of the Chris's. Be one of the 4 Chris's.
Yeah, be a Chris. That's it. Yeah, you would just be a Chris.
When in doubt, be a Chris.
Exactly. That's absolutely what you would do. I personally probably would pick Hemsworth, but that's just me.
Oh, well, most sane people would.
Yeah, I'd be Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my form of choice. But after I'd spent, decades as Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, so let's talk about In the Fade.
Tell me about this.
Not off topic at all.
Yeah, what a segue.
Exactly. In the Fade, which is a German drama starring Diane Kruger.
We're a very international show today.
We are. In the Fade is also known as Aus dem Nicht.
Beautiful language.
It is.
Beautiful language.
Stars Diane Kruger as Katia. Katia is a woman from something of a, I think we're led to believe, something of a, from the street, minorly criminal kind of a background. When we're introduced to her at the beginning of the film, she's getting married to her longtime boyfriend who is serving a prison sentence, and they've literally let him have the wedding in the prison. Okay. We then flash forward several years. He's been released. By the way, he's Turkish as well. So this comes into play in a moment. A couple of years later, he's a small business owner in the Turkish district of Berlin. They have a son together. She pops out for an afternoon with her friends, and a bomb is detonated in front of his office, killing both he and their son. Yes. Ooh. And, okay, just to shorten this, peppermint without the action movie at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, if you've seen that trailer, yeah, basically that. So Diane Kruger, obviously left distraught, turns to drugs in solace to try and overcome her grief. And then, of course, they make an arrest. They make a couple of arrests, and there's the trial to come. And she experiences firsthand exactly how deep the injustice of the justice system can run. I'm not going to say much more than that, but yeah, that's the bulk of it. We don't have a clip because it's entirely in German. And it's kind of strange in one sense. We forget that Diane Kruger is German because we're so used to seeing her in English language films. It's kind of like Matty Shoes.
Matty Shoes, yeah.
Kind of like Matty Shoes. We're so used to seeing him in Western films now.
I think I've only seen him in one foreign language film. That was Rust and Bone.
Did you see Disorder?
Oh, no, too, yeah.
Just Disorder as well, because wasn't that Diane Kruger?
I think it was.
Yes.
It's come full circle.
Exactly. So this, as well as Diane Kruger, this also stars Dennis Machito, whom I've looked into his IMDb page, and there's like 39 credits on there. I've seen one of them, I can't remember offhand, I don't remember him in it. He's terrific in this as her lawyer, as her sort of very sympathetic lawyer, who I think becomes something of a confidant and a friend. It's a very tense, very gripping drama. It's written and directed by Fatih Akin. Again, whose work I'm not familiar with because I don't think there's a lot of work in the Western realm. And my knowledge of foreign films is entirely run by IMDb. But except for Disorder, which I absolutely loved, and he's getting remade in English anyway.
Can we just have him in it?
I think we should. I think they should get Matty Shoes to reprise his role for an English language remake of Disorder, which was a great movie. This I can see getting remade as well, with Diane Kruger, because she's absolutely fantastic in it. And if you ever remade this in the English language, for the love of God, don't recast her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you'll get Jeremy Piven or whatever play the lawyer, but...
not to play the Diane Kruger part.
Not to play the Diane Kruger.
They always get confused with each other.
Yes, clearly.
I've never seen them in the same room.
This was a film that does keep you guessing. It likes to function as a thriller, and it serves very well in that capacity. However, I actually think it works better as a straight character drama. If you ignore the twists and turns, because it is very reality based. It's not particularly far fetched in how it goes about it. So, for instance, the crime, the brutal murder of the husband and son, we're told very early on this is quite clearly an act of extremism. This is an act of racial tensions in Berlin, and it's rooted in real life events. It's not actually a true story, but it is rooted within events that have taken place. So attacks like this that have actually transpired, as we're told, in the last 20 years. The drama side of it is genuinely gripping. Diane Kruger is fantastic in this. Genuinely, I've never seen her perform this well. And I mean that from all of her National Treasure performances. Nothing compared to this. But what other English language films did she do? She did National Treasure.
Inglourious Bastards.
Of course she did, yes! But she wasn't the main female actress in Inglourious Bastards. She was the second stringer, wasn't she?
She is, yeah.
She was also in Unknown with Liam Neeson, apparently.
Liam Neeson's.
Liam Neeson's, yeah.
Liam Neeson's,
yeah. Liam Neeson's. And The Host, which I think most of us have since forgotten. But absolute career-defining performance from Diane Kruger. I think she's absolutely terrific in this. But I do think Dennis Buscito as well is not to be overlooked. I think his performance, his supporting role, is absolutely terrific. It's called In the Fade. It's Curzon release out this Friday, 22nd. Absolutely check this one out. If you like a good, dramatic thriller, definitely check this out.
I do. That's good.
There you go. I advised you before we even sat down to do this. I said you don't want to watch that. But let's have a piece of film news before we crack on. What have we got?
So, do you remember the 90s?
I remember the 90s better than most people. I'm a big fan of the 90s.
You're a fan of the 90s erotic thriller?
I'm a big fan of the 90s erotic thriller.
Yeah. Or just 90s films in general?
Yeah, I am partial to a 90s film. I mean, I like, Hackers, Crimson Tide, things like that.
Just to name a few of my favourite 90s films off the top of my head.
The two films from the 90s I pick.
And Hackers was one of them.
I don't know why Hackers was one of them. Johnny Mnemonic, I don't know.
Dante's Peak, Volcano, Bay Pigham City.
Virtuosity.
Oh, that's a great one.
That is a great one.
Anyway, The Witches, which is...
Was that a 90s film, The Witches? Was that like 1990?
I think it was, yeah. I think it was, yeah. Just in there. Great film. I was terrified.
Oh, yeah.
I was a kid. But that is being, I guess that's not been remade, there's another adaptation of it in the works. Obviously, the Roald Dahl book, which I used to love as a kid.
It's got its fans, hasn't it?
Me.
Well, yes.
I'm here.
Including you, yes.
It looks like Robert Zemeckis is going to direct a version of it with Del Toro producing it.
That is bonkers. That's a weird pairing, isn't it?
I think just get Angelica Houston back as well.
Yeah, I would. Or if you need to update it for the times, just get the next generation's obvious successor to Angelica Houston. Eva Green. Exactly. Thank you. We're on exactly the same page on that, aren't we?
You get.
That is brilliant. Yeah. See, this is why we work so well together, you and I. We are workplace proximity.
Yeah, she is Tish. She is new Morticia.
She really is. So, Witches, got a lot to look forward to then.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think we've said when it's going to be coming out, or this is the first thing anyone's heard about it. But
yeah, the Del Toro horror thing concerns me a little because he has that famous habit of
just dropping out.
Yeah, picking things up and then putting them back down and never picking them up again.
But Zemeckis is quite good for following through on.
Yeah, so. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But should we move on to the top 5 for this week?
Okay.
Number 5.
Race 3. Well, I didn't see Race 1 or 2.
I never saw Race 1 or 2 either. I remember the poster for Race 2, and there was something familiar when I looked into Race 3 this morning. There was something familiar about it, and it's because it stars Salman Khan, who is the star of the Doom series.
Yes, he is incredible as well, to be fair.
That's it. I mean, he seems to get a lot of hate online. Why do people hate Salman Khan so much? I don't get it. I mean, sure, he's no SRK, he's no Shah Rukh Khan, but...
He's your Tom Cruise of Bollywood.
I'll tell you something. I looked into Salman Khan, and that man, a guy after my own heart, that guy loves his sunglasses. That guy loves a pair of sunglasses.
Actually, is Salman Khan, is he the actor who he ran over someone and killed them?
I have no idea. We'll look into it now. Hang on. If you did that, why would you star in a film called Race? About cars.
Marketing. It's all about marketing.
Wow.
It might have been, but there was a really, really big Bollywood actor who was out on bail for it, and he was carrying on making films. But
I'm looking into this.
He was done for manslaughter, but then paid. So, but if that's the guy that's getting heat, that might be the dude.
That might be why, because there does seem to be a lot of hate for this online, but it's still number 5 in the UK box office, and they don't press show Bollywood films generally anymore. We've had 1 or 2, and the ones we've had have actually been really good.
Yeah.
But alas, not this one. Has anybody tweeted on the matter?
Have they? Yes. At Vishal_filmbuff says, love him or hate him. So there we go. But at being Salman Khan is blessed with alchemy in the truest sense of the word. This is amazing.
Wow,
this is a great tweet.
This is deep.
Yeah. He can turn rubbish into gold. ... And this is exactly what he has done with hashtag Race 3. Hashtag Paiza paying public loves him blindly, and we all need to respect the sentiments. Junda Dan. I agree.
I agree completely. That sounds... He seems to know a lot more on the subject than we do.
Number 4.
Nah, just Deadpool. So I might go watch Infinity War this week. I'm thinking about it.
Oh, do you know I was thinking that as well?
Yeah. I still need to see it again.
I've only seen it like 4 times.
Anyway, I've seen Deadpool 2 once, and that's it.
Okay. I saw Deadpool 2 once as well.
Are you done?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. That's done for me. I'll get it on home release.
Yeah. I like it. I don't want to sound like I don't like it, but I have no strong feeling to ever see it again.
I'm not connected to it the way... I didn't connect with it the way I connected with the first film.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the first film had those jagged edges. The first film was kind of scrappy. Despite the fact that it is this $50 million meta superhero comedy, it had that scrappy edge to it, that this shouldn't exist kind of edge. And then the sequel feels
just
so much more filed down, doesn't it? So much more sanitized.
Are you aware of a YouTuber called Binging with Babish?
I am not aware of Binging with Babish. Who is Babish and why are we binging with him?
Well, first of all, his name isn't even Babish. He takes that from Babish from The West Wing. So
okay, fair.
But he's a filmmaker turned cook, and he takes recipes and like food from film and shows and makes them.
I have encountered this man.
He's the dude. Well, this week he did the pizza from the first Deadpool. You know, the one with like olives and pineapple.
Yes, and anchovies, salty and sweet.
Salty and sweet. He made that pizza.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I wonder how that actually tasted.
Well,
I'm never going to find out.
He hates all those toppings, but he still made them.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah,
so, has anyone tweeted? I presume a Deadpool fan has tweeted to tell us how amazing Deadpool is.
I maybe a fan. I would say a fan.
Okay.
At Miss Fifi Wong.
Fifi Wong,
obviously the wife of BD.
Oh, of course,
or at least relation.
There's a few Wongs in the world.
But there's a couple of Wongs.
No.
Yeah.
2 Wongs don't make a right.
I knew that was coming. I was like, just move on to the next bit so you can't say it. So, hashtag Deadpool 2. It was funny enough, and Zazie Beetz was a wonderful addition. Still, I don't like how Louis Ten and Terry Crews were essentially reduced to literal throwaway jokes. Also, Yukio.
Yeah, Yukio is in there.
Number 3.
Spin-off number 2.
Solo Star Wars story, which is getting... Do you know, it's one of those films that's being killed in hindsight. I've noticed this. In casual conversation, people are retroactively hating on this.
It ain't that bad.
I don't think it's that bad. It's not that great.
I'd say it again. I'm not going to see it in the cinema again. I'll see it when it comes out.
It's good.
I'll probably get it on Blu-ray to add to the collection.
Of course you will. Yeah. And, you'll watch it when you're doing your marathon, binge sesh.
I'll watch it before 9 comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a perfectly functional film for what it needs to be. The problem is, nobody ever wanted this film to exist. Nobody asked for it.
No, we only really wanted it when we knew the director's vote was attached.
Exactly.
Because we knew that it wouldn't be functional. It turns out they weren't making something functional.
No, they were making something bonkers, and
that's what we wanted.
Yep, I wanted bonkers too, but alas, we did not get it. So, I'll leave it to you to tell me, did someone tweet hate or love?
I don't know. Let's find out together. At NatKMMR says, I just saw #solo movie by myself, and it was such a good experience. Star Wars is always so positive in my life. Anyway, I'm a huge damn geek. I'm gonna wear a Star Wars shirt to the bar tonight. No punctuation, nothing but spelling errors in that.
But he's wearing a
D plus.
He's wearing a Star Trek shirt to the bar. I mean, that guy is totally in late tonight.
You said Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Give me your geek card.
I'll give you my geek card. Okay, as soon as we're off mic, you can have my geek card. But hey, I'm still cooler than the guy in the Star Wars shirt to the bar. Star Trek, God damn. What's wrong with me?
Let's move on.
Number 2.
Creeps you out to hear it, doesn't it?
Oh, God.
I get a little chill.
Hereditary.
Which I loved.
That's a thing.
I was a big fan. I think Hereditary is to A24 what Kubo and the Two Strings is to Leica.
Show your work.
Right. In terms of, we've made a great movie, a great movie, a great movie, a great movie. Now here's our latest movie, in this case Kubo, that combines everything that was wonderful about all those other films and presents it to you in one singular package. Here's everything that's good about The Vervitch, everything that's good about It Comes at Night.
Yeah, if someone says to you, explain to me an A24 film,
just show them Hereditary.
Show them this.
Yeah,
absolutely. You could do that with Kubo for
Unlike it. See, I knew you'd like my example.
I'm trying to think of other examples for other studios or other, like Blumhouse. What could be? Blumhouse is an interesting one, though, isn't it?
Blumhouse is quite varied, actually.
Yeah. Because obviously,
they're really
you get like your Happy Death Days and those, but then you get a Get Out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Blumhouse is yet to come. We don't know.
Maybe.
Quite possibly.
Spawn. It'll be Spawn.
But Hereditary, I think, has got amazing performances. I think it's brilliantly made. I think it's very chilling. It's not a jump scare movie. It is all about atmosphere and tone and dread. It's a sense of dread.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it presumably after we did last week.
I did. Yeah. When did I see it? Did I see it day off? Yeah, I saw it day of release.
Did you love?
I did. Of course I did. Yeah. It's difficult to distill how I feel about it. I think it. Yeah.
People are doing it in cinemas. People are doing that apparently during the silent bits in cinemas.
And there's a lot of silent bits. I think that's what adds to the dread and stuff. I think once you've seen the whole thing, I think you need to go back just to pick out clues for what's coming.
I'm really looking forward to it hitting home release and getting to see it again.
There's been a lot of video essays and dissections about it.
That's the thing. Really. I mean, I had this conversation with a certain film critic who specialises in horror the other day. And we were talking about it. He didn't particularly like it. Well, he liked bits of it, but didn't really think it was all that. And obviously, I liked it. We were talking about it. I mean, actually, the thing that I'm most impressed by is it's a film that's discussion worthy.
Yeah.
And, people are talking about it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. And, that's fair. But I like that people are at least discussing why it didn't work for them. It's a conversation. Exactly. It's a conversation piece. And it's definitely a cocktail party kind of topic, isn't it? Hereditary.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. So, what have we got on the old Twitter sphere? Has someone hated it? Has someone loved it? Are they with it or against it?
At Carol Maps says, well, she's at Carol Maps and also Mappers.
Nice.
So let's go with that. Mappers
I like that. Yeah.
Says, just saw #Hereditary, and now I need to lie down, but definitely not in a darkened room, or near naked flame, or ants, or kids that make weird noises, or grandmas, or families, or houses, or pigeons, or cars, or school. I'm fine. That's how it ends.
Number 1.
Life, finds a way.
Jurassic
Kingdom?
Whatever it is. Why wasn't it just called Jurassic Kingdom?
I know, why wasn't it Jurassic Kingdom? I know.
I don't want it to hang on to... I mean, obviously we're going to. Jurassic World, Transformers, cast-off title.
Oh, man, I hadn't even thought of that.
Well,
It really is, isn't it?
You know, at some point, whilst we were like doing the the 4 Transformers sequels, that Fallen Kingdom was one of like the cast-off subtitle choices.
Quite clear. It's one of those on the scrumpled up post-it notes in the corner of the room.
Yeah, but a bit like pinned on the board as like a maybe.
Totally. So, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I was a little bit let down by it. I think it's definitely one of the weakest of the entire series. I think it's better than 3 and 2.
I don't think I was let down by it because I didn't have very high expectations for it, which is... I enjoyed that first Jurassic World, absolutely, but I didn't... I wasn't foaming at the mouth to watch this.
Oh, you see, I was.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan.
Jurassic Park is one of my favourite films of all time. It was the first film I ever saw in a cinema.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was 10.
I was 4. My dad took me. My mum was annoyed.
I remember it was the Warner Brothers cinema in Sheffield, and there were people actually sneaking in.
Warner Village.
Warner Brothers. Warner Village? Is that what it was called?
Warner Village. That's
Warner
what
Village.
Called, yeah.
People were actually sneaking in, and the screen was full, and they had to sit in the aisles.
Wow.
And I remember that. But great movie. I still love Jurassic Park, and it's coming to Netflix this next month.
You are kidding me.
No, Jurassic Park 1 is coming to Netflix. But no, I think the sequel, though very well made, and arguably probably the best made since the first one. If you're going into just how it looks,
well, we've spoken about how much it looks beautiful, and I think the direction's amazing.
I think
he's an incredible director.
Yeah, I think picking J.A. Bayona and giving him, free reign to just do horror, just go and do horror with dinosaurs.
Yeah,
brilliant idea.
It is a Spanish horror film.
Yes, it absolutely is,
and that's fantastic. However, the story is not written by him. The story is written by Colin Trevorrow, and it sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what. You're not wrong. Has someone tweeted a similar message, or
at Colin Trevorrow says, "Screw you, Case. Leave me alone. I'm going to go make Book of Henry 2.
Do you know that's exactly what I was going to go with as well?
Yeah. We share the same brain.
We clearly do.
So at Chaos_Timothy, you never put Timothy and Chaos in the same sentence, do you?
We knew a guy named Timothy. He was Chaos.
Madness. He says, best opening, best cinematography, most heartbreaking scene, best twist, best death scene, at Film by Owner, knocks hashtag Jurassic World, hashtag Fallen Kingdom, out of the park. Out of the Jurassic Park, more like. And no, he doesn't, you're wrong.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So before we do our rapid-fire segment and actually get through 3 films in record time, let's have another look at our 21st century films. Is there anything from the 21st century you've come up with among your favourite films?
Oh, bugger, I wasn't thinking.
I'll chuck one out if you like.
Yeah, give me one.
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Okay.
Should have been a franchise. But, Pirates of the Caribbean got it, so screw Nicolas Cage, right? Gladiator? Yeah, that counts. I think that counts. Is that summer 2000?
Yeah. So I'm going for my favourite films of 2000.
You really are. You're going just for the year 2000. But Gladiator, yes, that is a classic.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
That's academically good as well.
Yes.
Like, academically, Gladiator is good.
I'll think of some that everyone else hates, but I love now. I'll try to think of those ones.
G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra.
You an idiot.
On which notes? So Arcadia, which is a documentary, well, less a documentary and more an actual outright art piece from Paul Wright. And this basically explores our relationship with the land. And it sort of spans sort of the 20th century onwards. And it's just how we as maybe before that as well, just how we as a culture, how we as a society have adjusted and amended our relationship with the natural world, but within a British context. I'll tell you what, we have a clip, and I'm going to... this has got a bit of music to it. There is a reason for it, and I will explain once we've heard it, but this is archival footage of young boys being interviewed by, I think, the BBC, just about why they like to play in the woods.
Russell, why'd you go around with Victor and not with someone else?
Because he's a right comic.
What way?
He's always doing daft things.
Does your mum know what you get up to when you come down here?
No, my mum does. She will do with you lot showing this on telly.
the music in there is a very, very big part of it. And the music comes to us by Adrian Utley from Portishead and Will Gregory from Goldfrapp.
Ooh.
So both of those.
I don't care about Goldfrapp, but Portishead.
Yeah, and musically, it's astonishing. Like I could have literally just listened to the film, not looked at it, and still enjoyed it. The music underneath it was fantastic. The film itself is something of a victim of its own success in wanting to function as a sort of art installation for the 80 minutes. I think it's like 72 minutes that it lasts. It succeeds so well that actually you feel wrong watching it on a cinema screen, and you feel like you should be watching this projected onto a white wall in a gallery somewhere.
Right.
And you feel like if there actually were some sort of exhibit about this subject, and this were a sort of centerpiece in the middle of it, it would feel exactly at home. If it was the Arcadia exhibition, and then in the middle of it was a small screening space in which you watched Arcadia, that's exactly where you would expect to find this. It's a little bit obvious. It uses seasons as a sort of as a structure for the actual piece itself. It doesn't make any grand or profound points. Certainly nothing that you've never really considered yourself. But having said that, it's so immersive and it's so sort of lively, and particularly on the musical front, that you kind of do fall in love with it. And I'm going to call that a win.
Freak Show.
So Freak Show, which is, believe it or not, directed by Trudy Styler.
Really?
Yes. Mrs. Sting directed this.
That's what it says on a passport. Mrs. Sting.
Mrs. Sting.
When she gets post, it's to Mrs. Sting.
Exactly. That's exactly what comes through her letterbox, yes.
But that's not all.
No, don't go there. I'm sorry I paused at that moment. Right, this stars Alex Lawther. Stop laughing. This stars...
Don't you know this about Sting? He likes tantric sex.
He does. This stars Alex Lawther, whom you may remember as the young Alan Turing in The Imitation Game, and also the slightly older Christopher Robin, the sort of middle point Christopher Robin in Goodbye Christopher Robin. He's also in that Netflix series, The End of the Effing World, which I've not watched a single episode of, admittedly.
Is he the lad from Downton?
Do you know what? I would not be terribly surprised.
No,
I've not checked that, but it would not surprise me.
Maybe.
Right, so this is the story of a teenage boy named Billy Bloom, who has been raised by a single mother, Bette Midler, and raised as effectively a sort of one-man cabaret act. That's how he sees the world, because his mother is a natural performer. He's always out in the world, strung out on something or other, performing. That is the life he has grown up accustomed to. He is sent to live temporarily with his father whilst his mother is in, well, we presume in rehab, and he goes to a new high school. As soon as he enters the high school, he immediately falls foul of the it girl, the popular girl, played by Abigail Breslin, and finds solace in two friends, one played by Anna Sophia Robb, who I was shocked to find out is now 25 years old.
Shut the front door. Really?
I know. I thought, hang on, she's about 10 years old. When did she become 25? But apparently, yeah, she became 25 at one point. You've also got, I'm trying to remember, I think it's Ian Nelson as his closest male friend. And because of his natural, well, I should tell you what, I'll play the clip and you can hear exactly what the response to his natural Adam Ant-like persona, how that goes down.
Hi. So I am Billy Bloom. I just transferred here from Darien, Connecticut, the hometown of Chloe Sevigny. Hello! And I realized, for me, it was already over. That is a fantastic tee you're wearing. Gotta
touch me again, I'll kick your ass.
Got quite a potty mouth on you.
So obviously it doesn't go down well. I think his performance at the centre of this is great. I thought Bette Midler did quite a bit with what's effectively a cameo. I think the unspoken star of this is Abigail Breslin, who... Abigail Breslin takes on a sort of similar role to Mandy Moore in that movie Saved, if you ever saw that. In fact, the whole film...
Yeah, I think I did, actually.
Yeah, the Christian high school drama was actually pretty good. Didn't it star Patrick Fugit, I want to say? Yes. But anyway... basically, you could describe this as Election meets Saved, was basically how I would describe this film. The whole general gist is that he runs for Homecoming Queen. as a, you know, it's never actually explicitly stated that he actually is gay. He's just incredibly flamboyant and effeminate, although you would assume he's meant to be gay because there's a very ramped up LGBTQ component to this, including Laverne Cox turning up. And you know how a movie can only be so Scottish before Peter Mullen turns up? A movie can only be so gay before Laverne Cox turns up.
Yeah, that's the new bar.
That's the new bar. And Laverne Cox...
Are we allowed to say bar now that Roseanne's off here?
Yes, we are.
Are we taking it back?
We're taking the word bar back, but only with one R. I think his performance, though, I really like him. I really like Alex Lawther in anything. I'm just a fan of his. He was in Black Mirror at one point as well. I forget which episode now. But yeah, I had a great time with this. It didn't go down brilliantly across the board. I know it was very hit and miss with some critics. I personally liked it. I couldn't speak too much to Trudy Styler's directorial prowess because it seemed very workmanlike. But... it worked for me.
Boom for real.
Sadly, not the autobiography, not the biography of the Out Here brothers. But right, so this is the late teenage years of Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Yeah,
Basquiat? Is that how you say the artist?
Basquiat.
Basquiat?
The one that Bernard from Westworld played.
Yes.
What's his name?
Oh, Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright.
This is his teenage years, and to be honest with you, this plays largely like... I tell you what, we've got a clip. Hang on, I'll play you a clip, and this is sort of casting an image as to the world that this future artiste emerged from.
But I knew that Jean was not one of the writers.
He was never really a graffiti artist, you know. I mean, he was not part of the culture, you know. I mean, there was a way we dressed, how we spoke. He wasn't part of that.
Well, graffiti, I mean, anyone that's scribbling something on the wall becomes graffiti, you know, being black and writing words, he's tagged as a graffiti artist. But that was his canvas, you know, he didn't really have a place to live, so if he wanted to create something, he put it outside on the wall, right?
So it is about how a place can define a person, how that's surrounding. And it is a very vivid picture of New York in that late 1970s, early 1980s era, you know, in that point in which the Lower East Side of New York basically became a war zone, and, you know, where John Carpenter clearly got most of his ideas from. Exactly like that. I did think it was quite in depth. For me personally, I don't know enough of Jean-Michel Basquiat you know, as a man in his own right.
I just know that Jeffrey Wright played him. That's all.
But that's it, and I come from a similar sort of sense with that. There's not an awful lot about him himself. It is more about the place. It's a documentary about the place rather than the man from whom, you know, emerged from it. That's it. I was intrigued by it, and I wasn't bored at any point, but I did question exactly how much relevance a lot of what had to be, kind of thing. It does seem like, for instance, a lot of the biographical parts of it do seem to get squeezed more into the back end of it when they sort of feel a need to make it more relevant, to come to something, go circular and actually build this to a point. Like I say, I wasn't bored by it, and I thought it was quite a well-made documentary, and the stuff in there like about New York at that time that was genuinely fascinating to me. And if that's something that would fascinate you, then by all means go and see this.
I'm easily fascinated.
You easily fascinated. Well, that helps. And so go and see Boom for Real, the late teenage years of Jean-Michel Basquiat. And I think you'll be in for a good time.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, well, how else to say it? They've remade Overboard.
Cool. Why?
I don't know. I mean, I presume money? I mean...
Yeah, but is there an audience for it?
I know. Is there a huge...
people clamouring for it?
Yeah. Are they going to make a huge amount of money? I'm not entirely sure. But either way, it's been remade. It's here. Right. So the whole thing is, because it's 2018, they've gender flipped it.
Yeah. Ladies can do stuff now.
But that's the thing.
Including B. Kurt Russell.
Including B. Kurt Russell. So you have a female Kurt Russell this time, and a male Goldie Hawn. So, although I'm just going to say, the male Goldie Hawn is nowhere near as pretty as the female Goldie Hawn.
No, he does seem just like a weird... Like, I'm not fully against this. This is an idea.
Yeah.
I'm against this as a cast.
Right. The film is bizarre. I mean, first of all, let's just go with the plot. Let's just go with the plot, first of all. Okay, so Anna Faris, not Anna, Anna. As in on her Faris. Anna Faris is a young single mum who wants to become a nurse, doesn't have time to study, etc. She keeps having to take menial jobs. One day gets a gig cleaning carpets for a spoilt playboy billionaire on his yacht, and she's fired and humiliated. He then has an accident and falls overboard, hence the clever title. He wakes up on a beach with amnesia. He's played, by the way, by Eugenio Derbez, or Derbez, I'm not sure, whom, to be honest with you won't know. No one knows who he is. Is he on some sitcom or something?
No, he started to become a thing.
Is he a thing?
In the Americas.
Right, I'm not actually sure how, because he's terrible in this. Anyway, so she discovers he's got amnesia. She comes up with a grand scheme where she convinces him that they are actually married and brings him home and basically teaches him a lesson, as in like humility, but also actually gets something out of him in that he goes to work and makes the money for them on a construction site working for her friend's husband. And in the meanwhile, he's also got someone to look after the kids as well. She can actually get time to study. Here's a clip that's going to set the quality level kind of nicely for you.
Look. I admit there are many things I've forgotten. But from the depths of my soul, I know I'm not married to this woman. So, unless I see some real proof, I'm getting a slice of pie at the cafeteria. Good luck, crazy lady.
Wait, honey. I didn't want to say this because I know it embarrasses you, but you have a tattoo of a cartoon mouse on your right butt cheek.
No, I don't. You're really my wife?
For better or worse, baby.
Mostly worst. But, yeah. So this goes on for an hour and 52 minutes. Not a single person I've spoken to about it will admit to having laughed at any point. I didn't. I literally just sat there in stone-faced silence at this, gobsmacked by the idea that A, anyone would remake it, B, anyone thought this was any good, C, it was released, D, Anna Faris is in it. And also, there's a weird racial component to it that I can't quite place. The movie's set in Oregon. Everybody in the movie who isn't Anna Faris is Hispanic. This is never explained. There is no logical reason for it. I can't quite get why.
You would think Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd all look like you. They'd all be...
Definitely.
They'd all be in flannel.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
My kind of people.
They'd do double denim, some flannel.
I never wear double denim.
I know you personally wouldn't, but...
Right now, I'm wearing something that looks like double denim, but this shirt is actually faux denim.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Faux denim, of course,
get it right.
Of course. No, it's incredibly sloppily written. There's not a single gag in it, and I do mean not a single gag in it.
But it's a comedy, I've heard.
It is allegedly a comedy. It's also allegedly a romance. It's a film that you can't quite wrap your head around the existence of, the conception of. There are references to the original film. There are...
So shared universe.
There are references to Goldie Hawn in there. So like, oh, this happened to a woman in the 80s. You're like, yeah, and it was more interesting when it did. And you come away from the whole thing thinking... This doesn't make any sense. Logically, it doesn't work as a film in the 21st century. The plot mechanics simply do not line up. How, in the age of the internet, this billionaire is walking around and nobody recognises him? Again, beyond me. I mean, obviously, he's going to get rumbled at some point. He's going to get discovered.
How does he become a billionaire? Is it a family thing?
Oh, he's a corrupt construction company owner who, cuts corners and makes cement bags that are too heavy and to save money.
Right.
And things like that. It is... one of the dumbest movies you've ever seen. And bear in mind for a second, this stars Anna Faris. Anna Faris could launch her own Legally Blonde style franchise tomorrow if she decided she simply wanted to make House Bunny sequels. She simply doesn't.
I'm surprised that they never made more.
I know. Yeah. You're like...
That film's actually pretty decent.
I like the House Bunny. I love the House Bunny.
And coincidence, I watched Legally Blonde the other day.
Yeah? Yeah. Here's the interesting thing as well. You can't help but think, in an alternative universe, there's a version of this movie that instead of Eugenio Derbez stars Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And that's a version I would have been more... When they were married, obviously, not in the last year,
right.
But when they were together...
You've got your parallels of...
You need that chemistry. They don't have chemistry at all. And that's quite simply because he is ludicrously bad in this. Yeah. And I mean, not a single line sounds like it was spoken by a sentient human.
It's a shame because he is Hernandez, you son of a bee, from Geostorm.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh God, he is.
He's
the guy on the
Hernandez.
space station. Yes.
Who like comes in right at the last minute. And
Yeah, I do. Hey, do you know what? He's not got that jumpsuit on. That's what it is.
That's
I
what
don't
it is.
recognise him without his jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Mind you, he did kind of suck in Geostorm as well,
Everything kind of sucks in Geostorm.
including the storm
Yeah.
itself. Because
But like it all like sucks in equal amount. So it's that thing where like because it's all bad, it's all great.
Put it this way, Overboard is a film so unfathomably terrible. I can genuinely put my hand on my heart and say, Ava Longoria is the best thing about this movie. Now just imagine how the planets have to align and exactly what kind of disgraceful universe we have to live in for me to actually be able to say Ava Longoria is the best. Ava Longoria, female lead in the movie Over Her Dead Body, is the best thing in this movie.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. No, it's bad. It is really, really bad. I mean, it will bomb. This will absolutely bomb. It is a film that makes you think, good Lord, that Splash remake is coming. Please let it be better than this.
Oh, Sploosh.
Sploosh, yeah. That's got to be better. I mean, at least that has Channing Tatum in it.
Has that got a release date yet?
No, not that I know of. But
Because I'd forgotten about it. I didn't know if it was still making it or not.
just don't see Overboard. I mean, it's directed as if it's an episode of The Big Bang Theory. It's kind of that
then I won't see it.
pedestrian comedy. I mean, it looks like a sitcom. It really does. Despite the fact that one of the characters is a billionaire, you only see like this yacht, which quite clearly one of the producers owns.
Yeah.
Like the producer has just
you can use my yacht.
loaned them his yacht, and they've just put like a decal on the side. You know, it's one of those. It's clearly made on the cheap. It's clearly made without any effort whatsoever. It's clearly made without any consideration as to what in any universe necessitates a romantic comedy. It is utterly appalling. We don't do star ratings. This wouldn't get a star. I mean, it stars Anna Faris, so technically it hasn't got a star anyway, but, you know, still.
Oh, leave her alone.
I know, she's had enough time. Okay, so let's just wrap it there. It's not Film of the Week.
Shocker.
I know. God help us. I'll be really honest with you. I haven't stopped to consider what's Film of the Week this week. Maybe Freak Show?
I mean, Book Club is still out, so we could just give it to Book Club.
We could. No, In the Fade. In the Fade is Film of the Week.
Okay.
There you go. If you're going to see a film this week, go and see In the Fade.
So go to a Curzon.
Go to a Curzon, yeah. Go to a Curzon because it's there. If you're at a multiplex, see literally anything else that isn't Overboard.
Yeah, you don't even have to watch it. Just go buy a ticket for something else and walk away.
Yeah, buy a ticket for Hereditary. You don't have to see Hereditary. Just buy a ticket for Hereditary and leave.
Yeah.
That's fine. Someone can just put their coats on that seat. It's fine.
We need more coat chairs.
We need more coat chairs and Sims. I think coat hooks on the back of the chair in front of you would be a good idea.
Solid idea.
Yeah, solid idea, isn't it? But no, In the Fade, Hereditary. If you're going to go for last week,
what have we got next week?
Oh, next week. Okay, interesting stuff next week. So next week we have The Endless. Okay, done an awful lot about that one. We've got The Bookshop with Bill Nye and Emily Mortimer, I believe, as well.
Not connected to Book Club.
Not connected to the Book Club. Although there's a box set coming out of all this, isn't it? We've got Book Club, Bookshop. We just need another.
Yeah.
What was the one? The book? No, the Holocaust one.
Book Thief.
Book Thief.
Book Thief.
There we go.
It is.
Book Thief, Book Club, Bookshop. Oh my God, we've done it. Thank you. TK Maxx, you are welcome. TK Maxx and Matalan, we take requests. Anyway, Leave No Trace with Ben Foster, that's next week. Vagabond is next week. Sicario 2, Soldado.
Is it Soldado or Day of Soldado? Because I've seen...
I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's like... If US have got a different title. Because I've seen Day of Soldado.
It is listed on the database they give to film critics. It is listed as Sicario 2 Soldado. We also have Adrift next week with Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin.
Shailene and her Woodleys.
Yes, which we've never forgotten. Tag is next week.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not,
yeah,
which I've been looking forward to. If you've never heard the true story behind this Warner Brothers comedy, absolutely check out that true story because it's deranged. And also, the film can't possibly be as insane.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be like Argo, where they leave the more insane stuff out the actual film.
Yeah.
So we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been a Caddy Store production for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Patrick the Pug.
And we'll be back.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
We forgot a fantastically ludicrous piece of film news.
What is Chris Bridges doing now?
Show Dogs 2. Anyway, Kevin Spacey, remember him? He used to be in films.
Yeah, and he's still got another film.
He used to be in films and Young
due
Boys.
to be released.
Allegedly.
I hope you feel good about that.
Well, I feel better than the Young Boys. Anyway, so, there's this whole thing that we've basically tried to erase him from Hollywood.
Yeah, he's got a film coming out.
He's got a film coming out.
Billionaire's Breakfast Club or something.
Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah.
Do you not know the story behind it in the first place?
I do, and I've watched the trailer.
Isn't it Ansel Elgort in the movie, isn't it?
And Taron Egerton.
And
Emma Roberts?
I think so. It's got a hell of a cast, but
It's also got a Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey's front and centre in it. And, not everyone can afford to just take their film back to the drawing board and just insert Christopher Plummer over the course of a Thanksgiving weekend. Not everyone can do that. And not everyone can afford to keep overpaying Mark Wahlberg.
It's the riddles.
Exactly. So, they're just going to release it. But they're going to release it after the fact. They're going to put it out on VOD for like 6 weeks. Wow. Then they're going to release it in theatres. And the justification they've given is, yes, but we made the film before those allegations.
A lot of people have worked on the film.
Yeah, that one.
So it's going to be the same things, but Ridley Scott and the producers of All the Money in the World said, but we're not going to do what they did.
Exactly. So they're saying the right things, but not quite doing the right things.
Oh, dear.
And the weird part is, I'm really looking forward to that movie. I was before the whole Kevin Spacey thing. I was really looking forward to this. It's a great story.
Yeah.
But it's now going to be marred somewhat by this, let's just say, dark cloud hanging over it. A dark, roofied cloud. Anyway, what else we got this time? I know it's not really film-related, but apparently there's going to be less of a gap between Rick and Morty seasons, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Because of Comcast... I love this story. Comcast are trying to poach Fox.
Yes.
From Disney.
Was it something like 65 billion or?
I think it was 62. Was it 62 or 65? In fact, I think it was 52. Disney offered Fox 52 billion.
How have Comcast got that much money?
Right. Well,
have they got a rich uncle that's just died? Have they got a
family money, man? Family money.
Have Comcast got to spend the night in an old Transylvania mansion?
Well, they're the Connecticut Comcast. That's what it is.
Oh, of course,
they're of the Connecticut Comcast. No, right. So the way it worked was Disney offered Fox, I think it was 52 billion in stock, right? For all of their assets. Comcast then hit back with, "We'll give you 65 cash."
Yeah, cold hard cash. We'll get you a giant briefcase.
Well, they also then specifically targeted each individual person on the board of Fox and actually went and got in touch with them and tried to convince them, "We're better, we're giving you cash." Screw Disney. They actually tried this. Disney didn't really have an awful lot to worry about because, the board kind of just wanted to be part of Disney. It wasn't really about the money. It was about, we want to be part of Disney. And to be fair, given the associations the Fox organisation seems to have of late, you can kind of understand why they would want to separate from their news division. Right. Why they would want to separate from Fox News specifically the last 3 days. But let's just say kids in cages and leave it at that. But anyway, Disney have had to up their offer.
Sorry, to just wait for a second. What is the official title of those cages?
Cages.
They've been given...
I'm not sure.
They've given him like an actual title and it made me sick earlier and I forgot what
I'm pretty sure they're just detention centres, aren't they? I'm not sure.
It was like something refuge or I need to...
Anyway, so they've now offered, believe it or not, $71.3 billion in cash and stock, 50% of each.
Really?
Yeah. So I think we can safely say goodbye the Comcast thing. There's a rumour that Comcast may offer 80, but we shall see.
Those shelters have been called tender age shelters.
What? That sounds a bit rapey, doesn't it?
It's horrible.
Yeah, duh. Apparently, the trailer for Creed 2 will be out today.
Yeah, the posted yesterday. Yeah.
Can we talk about the worst advertisement any film has ever put out for itself?
What has Kevin Spacey done now?
Actually, not Spacey. Travolta.
Oh, I love it. I'm a big fan of it.
Right. So this is it's not even a trailer. It's a Twitter ad.
Yeah.
It's basically a GIF for the movie Gotti, which opened with... It made 1.08 million in its opening weekend.
Yeah, it had 0% on
Rotten Tomatoes after 26 reviews because they didn't properly press show it.
God.
Yeah, imagine that. They didn't properly pressure it and then had the unmitigated balls to put out an ad on Twitter that said, audiences loved Gotti.
Yeah.
Critics took out a hit.
Oh, you don't listen to critics.
Well, that's kind of what they said.
There was a thing that wasn't it, are you going to listen to yourself or some troll behind the keyboard?
That's exactly what they said.
that was my
Who would you
favourite one.
rather believe, yourself? And this is all the same ad.
Yeah.
Gotti out now. Yeah. I'm not really sure that was the right angle to go for with that one, to be honest. It seems a bit needlessly aggressive.
I'm gonna watch it because I want to see just how bad it is.
Oh, it gets better. You know that it was 1.7 million in its opening weekend, 40% of its gross came from MoviePass.
Yeah.
Who own a stake of the movie anyway. So...
How invested in the Church of Scientology are MoviePass?
Yeah, one wonders. One really wonders exactly what that relationship work. We're getting a Sammy Davis Jr. biopic.
Who's it coming from?
Lorenzo Di Bonaventura.
Yeah, it is. I love that guy's name.
It's great, isn't it? I was set to meet him for a junket years ago, and he cancelled.
Was it a spider junket? Because he was always involved in Spider-Man films.
No, it wasn't. It was Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. It wasn't a Transformers movie. I know that one. I forget what movie it was, but yeah, he was set to show up and he never did. But meanwhile, Sammy Davis is getting his biopic.
Yeah. Who would you get?
I have no idea, but I'll tell you something that's going to confound you a little bit more.
Go on.
Who do you get to play Marvin Gaye?
You get Jesse L. Martin from The Flash. And he's already played him.
And he has. Did you know that Dre's producing this?
I did, yeah.
That's
because
great.
Not only has he got to look like him, he's got to sound like him.
Oh yeah, that's going to be really hard to find. I mean, unless you call Jesse L. But Jesse L. Martin's like pushing 60.
Yeah.
So
and Marvin didn't get that far.
Yeah, Marvin didn't make it that far. That's kind of the whole strategy.
Unless you get him to play his dad at this point now.
Well, that's true. Speaking of, did you know Reg E. Cathy's final role is in Luke Cage this week?
I think I did know that, actually.
As his dad.
I didn't know he was playing his dad.
He's playing his dad.
That's very cool.
Which means, finally, Reg E. Cathy got his Marvel role.
Yeah.
We always said, didn't we?
He was in Fantastic Fantastic. He was kind of in Fantastic Four.
Who was it? There was a tweet the other day that said, just think, in an alternative universe, by now we'd have had Fantastic 2 and Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4.
Yeah.
That is a weird world.
There's some parallel world where people are having an even worse time. Because Trump didn't win.
Oh, yes. Imagine that. But her emails. Anyway.
Exactly. She should be burned at the stake for having a Gmail
Lock her up. Yeah.
Lock her out of her accounts.
Insane. What a world we live in. Anyway, speaking of world we live in, did you read a certain interview with Toby Emmerich, the head of Warner Brothers, this week? I know.
I didn't, but was it It's All Fine? And also, is that the head of Warner Brothers? Because it doesn't seem to be shifting like every week, or at least the head of DC.
Oh no, sorry.
DC and Warner Brothers film is.
But Toby Emmerich was the head of New Line and then took over Warner Brothers. I think the company head is still Kevin Tsujihara, but he's the chairman. He's the chairman of Warner Brothers. Toby Emmerich did an interview with EW and with Entertainment Weekly. I don't know why they call it EW. Just Entertainment Weekly. It's always been Entertainment Weekly. Anyway, the interview was specifically about Aquaman. And it reached. Do you remember the interview a few months ago with who was it that did the interview that we really loved, in which he just went off on tangents? Quincy Jones. Yeah, we have found the number 2 rank holder to that interview.
Oh, let's get them to interview each other.
Oh my god! So this is Toby Emmerich, who got asked what they've learnt from the comic book genre, and his answer with a straight face was, "Good movies work better." Yeah. When asked...
At least being honest about it.
Yep. When asked, why is Aquaman coming out December 21st, simply said, I didn't pick the date. When asked, why did you hire James Wan to do Aquaman, replied, he's a franchise maker and a world builder. Yeah.
Also, why are we not referring to it as Aquaman?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually.
From here on in, it's Aquaman.
Do you know he has his own pop figure now?
Yes, I saw one today.
With the purple streaks in his hair and everything.
Cool. Yeah, I like the director. I really want to get the GDT one. It's adorable.
Can I tell you about a colossal Curb Your Enthusiasm style faux pas involving James Wan?
Of course.
Right. When was Insidious 3 out? It was about 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago.
We've had a fourth since then, haven't we?
We've had a fourth. I haven't seen the fourth.
Last Key or something.
Something like that. It's the one with the key fingers, isn't it? Anyway, so when Insidious 3 was out, I went with John Dickinson to an event for the film. Like, prior to the release of the film, John Dickinson and I went, got shown the film, and then we went to a seance hosted by E1.
Yes.
Right. And all mumbo jumbo, not really the kind of thing I go in for. But they were doing an Oculus Rift virtual reality experience in which you went through the experience of Insidious. And Lee Whannell turned up.
I love Lee Whannell.
I love Lee Whannell. I was over the moon to meet Lee Whannell. And, he likes a chat and a drink. We hung out for like 15 minutes, and we were talking about the life of horror directors and how, and I didn't know this, they have like a monthly meeting. They have a little club. Like when you...
Like a magician's circle?
Like a magician's circle. When you emerge onto the horror scene, you get invited into this club. And it's got people like Rob Zombie in there and like Guillermo del Toro and people like that. And they meet up like once a month at a restaurant in LA and just hang out, shoot the shit. That's how it works. Anyway.
That's cool. That's amazing.
It is, isn't it? Wouldn't you love to be the waiter at that function?
Yeah. I'd serve them all like chilled monkey brains.
Oh, God, yeah. But this is the whole thing. And he was talking about James Wan. And we were talking about like his friend, James Wan, because obviously they came up together through the Saw franchise. And he was talking about like, he was saying, I'm so over the moon for James. He's got, so much great stuff coming up. I'm like, yeah, man, he's got Star Trek coming up. And, right, what mistake did I make? Right there. You just did it. What mistake did I make? Yep. Yeah. Your face. I know.
You picked the wrong Asian American filmmaker.
I did.
Oh.
I referred to Justin Lin in place of James Wan.
And Lee Whannell was like, bye, I'm going to go make Upgrade now.
No, he just sort of like furrowed his brow at me. He was like, is he doing Star Trek? This guy never tells me anything. And just moved on. Just left it in the conversation.
Yeah.
And we just talked about something else. It's like, never tells me anything. But I know in hindsight, I messed up. Mea culpa. I'm sorry. In my defense, both are brilliant directors. Both.
Definitely.
Justin Lin and James Wan are brilliant directors. They both have J names, to be fair. And didn't they both work on Fast and Furious movies? Didn't Justin Lin direct most of them?
Yes, that's true, yeah. And then James Wan did.
And then James Wan took over.
Yeah. Which I always find to be weird, but obviously worked very well for him.
In that interview, by the way, with Warner Brothers, with Toby Emmerich, he actually, under that question about why did you hire James Wan, franchise maker, world builder, look what he did with the Conjuring franchise. He made that into a franchise. He made this into a franchise. And even when he joined an existing franchise, he made the best, most successful one out of all of them. Referring to the Fast and Furious. So, yeah, funny.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Although I'd argue, didn't 8 make more money?
Did it in the end?
I'm not sure. I think it did.
So is it?
Pretty sure it made more money.
7's great. 7's the one where Stephen is the villain.
Yes, yeah. That's the one where he kills an entire hospital full of people. He massacres a hospital full of humans.
Right at the start.
But then we forget about it for his second movie because we need him for the plot.
Yeah. And, his buddies and stuff.
Yeah, and as long as you have a bonding moment, it's okay. We can forgive the mass murder.
You're bold. You're like me. We're family.
Didn't that hospital had to have had, like, a neonatal unit, presumably? Like, doesn't that mean that Jason Statham murdered babies? Like, it has to be. He blew the hospital up.
And yet I still like him.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's very strange. Well, I don't know.
I need to watch Blitz again.
Oh, I love Blitz.
I can't believe I'd only seen it with you. I'd never seen it before.
I ran into Paddy Considine.
Did you ask him if he interfered with you?
I ran into Paddy Considine. And I only talked to him for like 30 seconds. And it's like, I'm such a fan of Blitz. And then Paul's went, you're making your own movies now. You're successful enough. Can you not just get that series going? And his response was...
That could be a thing.
Yeah, his response was, I really don't think that many people want to see it. I went, I promise you, everyone in my life really wants to see it. Years ago, I think it was Studio Canal who distributed that.
It was.
I got in touch with them and told them we were giving it the second best film of the year. It was number 2 on our top 10 of the year.
Really?
And
it is good.
They were the only distributor who didn't reply to us. Probably because they just didn't believe that anybody was insane enough to think that Blitz was the second best film of the year. I don't know. Hey, Weinstein's lost another movie finally.
Hey,
yeah, Hotel Mumbai has cleared up. But what's this? Alison Janie's got a new job.
Yeah, she does.
Bad Education. Presumably nothing to do with the Jack Whitehall, series that became a movie, and yeah. This is a superintendent of the school district who works for the betterment of the student's education while embezzling public funds to live the life he wants. Oh, so like an actual superintendent of a school district. Okay, cool. It's called Bad Education, and apparently it's out next year.
Yeah.
Okay, stars Alison Janney, I'm in. So, well, that's kind of it for me, really. There's a third Sicario coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else? Benedict Cumberbatch and Peter Dinklage are being sought for the movie adaptation of Spamalot.
Really?
Did you not know that?
I did not know. That's great.
It's good casting, isn't it?
And now he's taken so long for that to happen.
I know. Like I've always wondered that. But the thing with Broadway shows and like West End shows becoming movies is it seems to happen less often than it realistically should.
Well, we're still selling tickets. There's no point doing the film because obviously people will be like, "Oh, just go to the cinema and watch it." It's why we'll never. Well, we will see a Hamilton film, but
in 2050,
we're going to be old and grey.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, like we're only getting Wicked next year.
I always
think
wondered
how long Wicked's been out.
Well, I always wondered about Book of Mormon. I always thought it was really weird, especially given that it's Parker and Matt Stone, Trey Parker.
I think they will get around to it eventually, but again, whilst it's so red hot,
it still sells out every night, doesn't it?
Yeah,
which is weird. Alan Frank has been to see that 4 times.
I've not. I really want to see it. Cassie's seen it.
I've not seen it once. Alan Frank has seen it 4 times. But I think I told you this earlier. My favourite ever rewording of the term gender flipped this week came from Nigel Andrews, who described who was asking about Overboard, and said why was there a need to make a gender reassigned version of Overboard?
Who was asking for it?
Yeah. That is firmly in the realm of who exactly asked for this.
Who is the audience for this?
It's just like, why? Who was sat around and thought, you know what people want? A new version of Overboard, but like the other way around. And Mexican. I just wonder why the and Mexican bit. It's just... It's not that there wasn't a reason to do it. I'm sure there's a reason to do any, racially there's a reason to make any version of a movie. By all means, go and make a Mexican version of Overboard. I don't know what the
set
Spanish...
in Mexico.
Yeah, you can do that. And, English language version set in Mexico, starring a largely Hispanic cast. That would actually be progressive in a strange way.
Yeah.
Why this specific one? For no relevant reason to the plot whatsoever.
Is the director Hispanic?
Do you know what? It's Rob Green... What was his name? Rob Greenberg, I think? Oh, hang on, here it is.
Classic Mexican name.
Rob Greenberg directed it. Yes, that classic Hispanic filmmaker, Rob Greenberg. Known for known for writing Meet Dave, the Eddie Murphy is a spaceship, quote-unquote comedy. He also wrote Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
That's a great film.
Which is a great movie.
A great film.
But, yeah, I mean... strange, that one. Yeah, so he wrote Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. He wrote Spellbound, which is a TV movie apparently I've never seen. Cloudy with a Chance of... No, not really anything other than... Oh, mind you, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is additional screenplay material.
So he was like a ghostwriter on it.
That means like he contributed a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. That probably means like he
actually,
he knew one of the writers personally. They were chatting over coffee one day. Said, "You know what you should do? Have this joke in there."
Do you know what it should be? Meatballs.
Yeah, listen. Cloudy with a Chance of Hot Dogs just doesn't roll off the tongue.
Tuna, no one wants that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Cloudy with a Chance of Spag Bol is not going to sell tickets, and nobody's interested.
Can you imagine an American person even saying Spag Bol?
They'd probably say Spag Bowl.
Spag Bol. Spag Bowl.
What else is there?
It's pronounced chowder. Chowder.
Did you hear? I don't know if we talked about this last week. Apple bought their first animated feature.
No, we did not talk about this.
And it's the next film from the studio that made The Breadwinner. So,
that looked amazing as well.
Oh, Breadwinner is such a good movie. It really is. The remake of Pet Sematary has begun filming. Optimus Prime may get a spin-off movie, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a Transformers movie. Sam Mendes is going to make a World War I movie called 1917.
Set in the 70s, is it?
Clearly, yes, yeah, clearly a period piece set in the 1970s. Yep. Did you see there is a new international trailer for The Meg?
No, but we should go watch it right now.
We should. It fleshes out the plot.
What plot? It's Statham versus a big shark.
Right, I'm just going to say this as well. There is a moment in the trailer in which someone refers to Jason Statham as an ex-diver.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's the character.
Has Jason Statham ever been a current anything? Like, he's never played a current anything, has he?
He's always been dragged in to be
he's always
mechanic again.
Ex-cop, ex-Navy SEAL, ex-ruthless warlord, ex-mercenary, ex-assassin.
Ex-bad guy that then becomes a good guy.
He's everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking forward to when he retires so he can become an ex-actor. It's
That'll never happen.
No, it won't. I want Statham to be kicking ass into his 90s. But, and do you know what? I'll still pay money to watch him when he is.
But then it'll be an ex-89-year-old.
I mean, Kelly Brook is an ex-Statham girl, technically, so...
So get it back.
Jason X Statham. Oh man, I feel like I don't know what Jason Statham's middle name.
We just call it Jason X.
Oh my god. No. I'm sorry. We're not topping that. We're done. We're not topping that.
Take my headphones
We're not
off.
topping
See
it.
you later.
Here it is. Your moment of cage.
All I can think about is like, there ain't no God. He don't exist. Hey, where you going?
I'm gonna show you God does exist.